Hi everybody, welcome back. I do hope you had a lovely weekend. It's been pretty glorious actually where I was down in London, and I have managed to have a nice rest, and I'm back to see all of you. Just getting ready to go to the Ritz, not quite ready yet, and I thought I'd share with you some of my thoughts and ideas about shaping your eyes using eyeshadows and the various challenges that poses to us. So that's what I'm going to do. Now, it's quite good that I'm starting with one eye done and the other eye definitely not done. And I think that if I sit back slightly, that's a fantastic illustration of the difference that eye makeup makes to the eyes. So if you look at this one, which has obviously got coloured shadows on it, and this one that's got nothing on it in fact at all, the difference is actually quite startling. So this eye looks a lot bigger, it looks a lot brighter, and the whole effect is, well, I think it's much more attractive. I don't like myself without any eye makeup on. I think I look piggy-eyed, and it just doesn't work for me at all. It makes me actually feel quite low. I will admit that yesterday I decided to have a no makeup day, first one during lockdown, and do you know what, by the end of the day I just felt very bleh. And I looked in the mirror and I thought, oh, I was doing a lot of gardening, and I just thought, do you know what, I really don't like looking in the mirror and seeing myself like this. It dampens my spirit. So as I said, I think this is a good illustration of what the power of eye makeup is, really. Now, the thing with eyes is that there's these different bits of them. Let's go through what you've got. Actually, I'm going to put a clip in, I think. Let's get rid of my hair a little bit. So you've got a framing device, which is your eyebrows, and then the bottom lashes, the bottom part of your eye. If you think of that as the top and bottom frame of what it is that you're working on, and you can see that by defining that edge and giving some definition to that edge, you're immediately making your eyes look better. So obviously we're talking about brows, colour, shape, definition, and all that I talked about in the brow masterclass. And then in between that, you've got two distinct areas. Actually, you've got three distinct areas, sorry. You've got the lid area here. You've got the brow bone here. And then in between, you've got what should be a socket line, because a normal shaped eye has got a lid, a brow bone, and a socket line. Now, your eyes might not be that shape. It could be that you've got hooded eyes. If you've got hooded eyes, then what you've lost is the socket line. So this skin has loosened and has dropped down over this bit that goes back. If you've got bulging eyes, so if you've got really prominent eyelids, then the eyeball is quite big and it pushes forward, and it actually robs you of your socket line in that way, because you haven't got very much in the way of socket line. You've got quite a lot of, as I said, you've got prominent eye here. Then you've got the opposite effect, which is where your eyes are quite sunken. So this bit has gone back and you've got a very deep, so you've got what's called deep set eyes. So you know, of those, a fairly standard eye shape like mine, although they're going towards hooding. Some mornings they look more hooded than others. It depends an awful lot on whether I've had a good night's sleep or not. And then you've got, as I said, the problem of hooded eyes, deep set eyes, or slightly bulging eyes. And they can all be improved quite dramatically with shadows, because eyeshadows can give the illusion of all sorts of things on your eyes, and you can make a huge difference. So the important things to say is that what you're playing with is light and shade. So if you're looking at an eye like mine, what you want to do is to make sure that this bit here, your lid, looks reasonably attractive and, you know, I say prominent enough so you can see the lid. This bit up here, again, the socket line, you want to make sure that there is the appearance of a socket line, and then you can do quite a lot to your brow bone by, in fact, using a highlighter on it. If you've got a hooded eye, you're trying to create more socket line. If you've got bulging eyes, so they're coming forward, you want to reduce them, so onto the lid area you'd use a darker eyeshadow. And if you've got very deep set eyes, you want the socket line to be less prominent, so you'd use a lighter shadow there instead of a darker one. So light means that the area is more prominent and comes forward. Dark means that the area is less prominent and recedes. So what do you want to draw attention to? What do you want to make look better? Do you want something to be more prominent or less prominent? I hope I haven't confused you completely. Okay, let's get going, and I'll show you what I mean. So I'm going to start with the brow shape, and this is about framing, so I'm going to get the top frame done first. So a little bit of, let me bring my mirror up so I can actually have half an eye on what I'm doing here. So usual thing, shake it up, take the excess off on the back of the hand. I'm using grey, and just get that shading in to the top frame by light feathery strokes. Remember, that's how you do it. I've done a brow masterclass on this, so if you're not too sure, I go into a lot more detail and a little bit longer than I have to make the framing complete. I'm always extending my framing out so that it's level with that corner of my eye. So I'm now going to use the brush again and just brush that through to make sure that it's balanced with the other eyebrow, and it's not got, there we go, that's fine. So now I've done my top frame, and now I'm going to give some attention to my lids. So I'm going to start with the eye primer. I'm going to do that because actually an eye primer is a great way to ensure that eyeshadows are a truer colour, and also any primers are designed to hold in place. Your face primer holds your face makeup for longer, so that it looks good when you go to bed, still looks good when you go to bed. Lip primers stop feathering and bleeding. I've already put my lip primer on. So you just not much, just a nice layer so that you're now ready to add some shadows. So I'm going to start with the lightest shadows. Let me show you the shadows I'm going to be using here. They're all designed to tone with the blouse that I'm wearing, although I don't, you don't have to match to what you're wearing. So I'm going to start with lilac, the lilac mist. So that's going to go onto my eyelids. I'm then going to do shading with the bluebell into the socket line. And then I'm going to finish with the aubergine down onto the lash line. So they're the three colours that I'm wearing. They're all tones and shades of varying depth, really like this, sort of lilac-y. So I'm going to start with the palest one, this one, and I'm going to just take a number 7 brush and just smooth that across my eyelids. So this is palest colour of all. Now, if I had very deep set eyes with a very dark socket line, so this is really deep in here, I would lift this over that whole area, including the socket line. And I wouldn't then darken the socket line because obviously it's dark enough. So the lighter would go deep into the socket line, and that would be it. If I had very prominent eyeballs and very prominent eyes, slightly bulging eyes, I would be using a much darker shadow on here. I'd be using the bluebell. And if I was doing, my eyes were hooded, again I would be using this, and I would be putting it onto the area where my eyelid should be. So next comes the shaping that I'm going to do, and that's with the bluebell. So another brush, and this time just looking at my eyes and thinking about what I need to do, I'm going to lift above and out there because I'm going to make the socket line better defined. Okay, so if I look straight, keep your eyes open, don't squint, don't do that. Just keep them normally open and look at where it needs to go. Now, if you're doing this on a hooded eye, that you're doing exactly this, just look in the mirror and think to yourself, where would the socket line be? Now, I've got a bit of sort of hooding, if you like, here, where my skin is loose, and I'm actually trying to make it look as though it goes back rather than it's dropping down over the lid area. Okay, so this is the kind of thing that I'm doing. It's like an arc of colour, and I'm following the line of my eyes. Now, at the side here, I'm going to go out so that it's in level with the end of my eye here and my framing at the top, my eyebrow. So I think that's probably enough. So can you see what I've done there? So I've got lilac mist here, and I've created, or I've enhanced, the socket line. Let me just stop and let you look at that. That's very much what I would do if I got a hooded eye. So I'd be trying to create a difference between this bit, the lilac, and this bit, the bluebell, even though this bit is actually almost not there because the skin is hanging down. But you can really, really make a difference on a hooded eye if that's what you do. Now I'm going to do a bit of blending because we obviously don't want those sharp edges. Fairly gentle blending, like that. So the integrity of the shading is still there. If I had a deep set eye, I wouldn't be pushing this line in. And if I had as I said, if I had a more prominent eye, I'd actually be using this bluebell onto the lid in order to reduce its size. Okay, so now I'm going to do a bit of brow bone, and I'm going to use my highlighter for this. So up onto my brow bone, I'm going to just pat a little bit of highlighter. And I'm doing that because I want to draw attention to my brow bone. It's an area that that looks nice if it's slightly more prominent. It's a bone, so it's giving shaping. So I'm just going to put my highlighter up there, just check in the mirror again and make sure that I'm balanced with the other side. Let me just put a little bit more bluebell there. Okay, I think I'm good. That's good. Blend it slightly. Okay, now I've done that, and now I'm going to go back to my, sorry, I'm just checking my mirror. Can you see how some speckles have come down here? So I'm just going to get those away. I'm going, for the next procedure, I'm actually going to use a pad to protect. I should have done that for that. Okay, that's fine. Now I'm going to do the my eyelashes. And this time I'm going to use the aubergine. So this is the darkest colour of all, and I'm going to use my little wedge brush like that. And I'm going to take it and push it into the base of my eyelashes. So the idea of this is, like any liner that you're going to use, is that it makes your eyelashes look thicker. And as I said, it completes that framing device because you've got your lashes are obviously framing your eyes, your actual eyes. But also on the bottom layer, the lashes complete the framing of your entire eye area. Now, can you see that I'm not doing this very precisely? You don't have to do this very precisely. I find with this wedge brush, you are literally pushing it down into your lashes. I did say I was going to use a pad, didn't I? It's actually quite hard for me to do this, demonstrating it, because I'm trying to show you exactly what I'm doing so that my hands don't get in the way. But I don't think too many speckles have fallen down, that's fine. And now I'm just going to go down onto my lower lashes and complete the framing. Some people do, some people don't like putting a line underneath their eyes. I quite like it because I actually think it suits the shape of my eye quite well. I think that's reasonably good. Not too many speckles underneath. I'll get my brush and just make sure. And I think we're balancing up reasonably well with the other eye. And then I'm going to finish with mascara. We have a mascara offer this week. Have a look at your email for that. And we'll probably put it underneath the video as well. It'll be time limited, but we'll put the date on the video, underneath the video. So I'm obviously using mascara now, which is incredibly important, I think, to the whole look of eye makeup. Without mascara, an eye is, it's just not finished, basically. And of course, when you do your bottom lashes, as I'm doing, you've got that completion of the framing that I was talking about. So obviously, with a hooded eye, you are going to put a little narrow bit of lash line in, and you're going to have your paler and your darker above to create the illusion of a socket line. If you've got quite a prominent and bulging eye, you're going to use a darker colour, perhaps the bluebell, onto your lids. And again, if you like the effect and it works on your eyeball, a bit of darkness along your lash line, and then finish with mascara. If you've got a very deep set eye, you do light, keep it light, 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 no socket line, just the lighter colour, probably the lilac mist. And again, depending on your eye shape and whether it will work for you, a very, very narrow lash line, and finish with mascara. So I think I've completed that. I think the two sides work reasonably well together. Let's take that out. Let me get in and show you. So I've kept the integrity of the pale lilac mist, the bluebell above, and then along the lash line, the aubergine, and I finished it with the mascara. By the way, about our mascara, some people get disappointed when they get it because it's not full of filaments and gunk and gluey, gloopy stuff that makes your eyelashes very stiff and spiky. Volumizing stuff, in other words, and you were disappointed that we haven't got a really, really good, thick, volumizing mascara. Well, we don't, for a very good reason. I think that older eyelashes that are a bit sparse look a lot better when they're actually coated in something that gives them definition, as this is done to mine, and colour, but it doesn't make them all look spiky. And I like the fact that when I've put this mascara on, my eyelashes still feel quite soft and silky, and I like that effect. I don't want gloopy, volumized mascaras with filaments in, because I just don't think they work very well. Certainly they don't on me. And most of our customers who love our mascara would agree. But some of you get disappointed and say, oh, it doesn't make my eyelashes look longer, it doesn't make my eyelashes look this, that and the other. It will definitely make them look thicker, but it won't give you those filaments and gloopiness. So I'm going to finish with Tulip Rose. It's not called Tulip Rose, what are you talking about? It's called Tulip Thing. And I've got these new cerise earrings from Tulali, which I love. So I think I might just brighten my tulip pink up with a little bit of fuchsia. I'm not going to use pure fuchsia because I think it's actually slightly too bright with this coloured shirt, but I do like it like that. So I think I'm good to go to the Ritz, and I think this works really well with these cerise earrings. And can you see how now I put my lipstick on, the colour of my eye makeup actually really pops, and the whole thing's working together beautifully. I do hope you enjoyed that. Not too complicated for you, and thank you for watching it. Let's go to the Ritz, have a lovely time together, have a good old chat, tell each other about our weekend, and I shall look forward to seeing you again tomorrow for another tea time at the Ritz with Tricia. Bye bye, see you tomorrow.